there's infinite realities to learn about. And some people will be happy to stay in the third dimension and realities. And that's fine, but there's many people that would like to probe and explore other dimensions of reality. And he said, I don't want to hear that stuff. He says, we make cars. What are you doing here with this stuff? So Carr said, well, okay, it's just a matter of time till this happens. And I'm sorry you feel that way. And we left. And it was another sad day for us because we thought, well, there we go again. Well, it wasn't 3 weeks later till things started happening. But before they did, he said, let's get this 45-foot craft up and operational, and maybe we can do something with that to show people. And I was elected, just a technician, knows nothing but natural law. I was elected as one of the people to be on board when we operated the craft. And there was 3 of us, and we had a briefing before we went on board, and Carr said, forget about it, your brain is going to go to, you might as well let it go to sleep because it's not going to comprehend what you're going to do. It's not going to have anything to do. It's not going to understand it. And just be patient and stay in a very calm situation and focused on what you're doing. And then when you get back, we'll have a debriefing and explain everything to you. So we did. We got on board. And what we had was a giant crystal ball or glass or crystal. I believe it was crystal, quartz crystal probably. And a light shining up through the bottom of it, which I believe was laser, of some kind of a laser, I'm not sure. And as soon as the light turned on, it took this crystal ball and changed it into infinite colors. It just went from infrared to ultraviolet in millions of degrees. I mean, it was just fading all the way around. And Carr said, okay, today we're going to go about 10 miles downrange, and we're going to an area which we're going to call, which is the resonant frequency of aquamarine. That's the color. And he said, okay, just stay where you are, open your minds, and relax. And when you get there, I want you to get out and see what's going on. Well, this globe started to change colors, and then it got into the aquamarine color. The whole globe started turning into aquamarine. Very, very brilliant, and lit up the interior of the craft. It was so bright. And then this is vague, but as well as I can remember everything, the next thing I remember, he says, okay, you're there. Get up, get out of the craft. And we hadn't experienced any movement at all. And I didn't quite understand what was going on, neither did they, the guys I was with. We said, okay. And we got out of the craft, and we were in a different place. We weren't at the lab. And even as I'm relating this now, I didn't remember this until, I think, years later that I recall. And I'm still recalling some of the things that happened. But we got out, and we were in touch with Carr, and I don't remember if we didn't have cell phones or anything. I don't remember how, but I can still hear Carr's voice right now giving us instructions. And he said, pick up rocks, pick up sticks, put them in your pocket, go run up a hill, do whatever you want to get familiar with where you're at. And we spent about 10, 15 minutes doing that. And he says, okay, get back on board. And we sat down again. And then this was still glowing, this aquamarine. We got back on board, we noticed that it dimmed back and went back into the multicolors. And we heard Carr saying, okay, get out of the craft. And we got out of the craft, and we were back where we started at the lab. And he said that we're going to go into debriefing and I'll explain this to you. And he said, well, what do you guys think? How was your experience? And I said, it didn't work, did it? And he said, well, that's the brain. So he said, yes, look in your pockets. And I swear to God, it was the most, I can't describe it to you. It's beyond words. We started pulling rocks and sticks out of our pockets. We had no idea where they came from at that moment. And he said, that's where the spaceships are. That's where they are. They're here, everywhere, right now. People can't see them because they're busy in a third-dimensional reality, or they're locked into a busy frequency that has little to do with knowing what they're doing, but has everything to do with guessing of what they're doing. And he explained that as, my good friend Donald Ware explained it to me the other night when we had dinner. There are different densities of reality. There's a first, second, third, fourth density. And we live, all of us live, well, we fluctuate, but for the most part, all of us are comfortable in one or the other densities. And these are just frequencies that we prefer, and in some cases they can be called creature comforts. We've gotten used to, a new car every year, a new television, a new house, travel, all the comforts of doing things. And a lot of people don't want to go any further than that, and that's fine. That's fine, but there are a lot of people that do. And so what he was explaining was that, I got to find my notes again. I lost. Okay, 3. Okay. He was explaining the different dimensions or densities as a box, about living in a box, that you have in a box all the creature comforts you want, but you'll stay in that box for as long as you want. It could be 100 years, 1,000 years, or 1,000,000 years if you like. Nobody's putting any pressure on you but yourself. Or you can start probing things that are outside the box, and it's a different reality. And he explained that as the difference of good and bad, right and wrong, left and right, hot and cold. He said those are all dualities, and the dualities belong in the box. That's when you make decisions. Oh, should I do this? No, I better do this. And the top of the box, as high as you can go in that box, is a belief system where you believe in, let's say, the ultimate science or the ultimate religion. You say, oh, I believe. Well, if you believe in something, you can also be encouraged to disbelieve in something. It vacillates back and forth. And we go through eons of time swinging from left to right or right to wrong or so forth. And Carr said there's only one. There's only one truth. There's only one reality. And that's outside the box. And that reality is knowing, when you know what you're doing, not guessing. No more decisions. And you have to start refusing to accept decisions. Just know in your heart where you're going and what you're doing is the right thing. And you'll be guided. Things will happen to you. And he was right. The rest of my life, I've lived that way, and everything's been wonderful. I've got a wonderful wife, a wonderful life. I couldn't ask for anything more than I have right now. Except the spaceships. I want that to happen. So he said that, like Well, I guess I just read this recently. The sun is warmth, and there's only one warmth. It's with degrees of coldness. There's not a hot and a cold. It's just the absence thereof that makes it so. And I'm still learning this myself, the oneness. It's staggering. There's no end to it. It just goes on to infinity of what that means. But getting back to the spacecraft, he said, what you did, you didn't travel a conventional linear way of traveling. You went outside of and then back into what's called time and space. And he said that's quite simple. And the thing is, everybody everywhere does this all the time. We all do it. The difference is we don't realize it. And that's outside the box. When you realize what you're doing, then you're getting into the knowing. Get into the know of things. I think there's the old saying. Then you get into the knowing of what you're doing. And it's quite a bit different. And what you did was you relaxed enough to allow yourself to go outside of time. Time is a creation that man has created, that has a beginning and an end. And that's all it's for. It's a measuring device. In all truth, there is no such thing as time. It's infinity from one end to the other. There's no beginning, there's no end. And we dissect it to where we want to be, what we want to do. And so he said, what you did on our clock here, you were gone 5 seconds. And the craft, to the witnesses, the people around that saw it move, lifted off the ground and disappeared, right? And 5 seconds later, it reappeared. To us, we were gone 15 minutes on our clocks, thereabouts, 15 minutes. And he said, time is what you make it. You slowed down time for your experiment, and time was accelerated in our experiment. But forget all of the above, because none of it is necessary except to measure with. Because what you did, everybody's doing all the time, they just don't realize it. Well, then we got into an area of I had to know more about what that meant. And it's like we've all at times experienced finding the parking place. Just I know it's going to be there. It has to be there because I'm going to be late if I don't get there. And if you're in the right frame of mind at the right time, it's always there. Without exception, it'll always be there if you get out of your own way. But if you get 1 ounce of doubt in there, that illusion changes. Because we create it. We are the creators of everything that happens to us. In microseconds, everything that happens is happening because we do it in the now. And the past and the future are what we make it. And that there is only one big now, and that you can travel anywhere in the now, in any dimension you want, as simple as you just experienced. And he said you can take what you call your body, which is nothing more than energy. He says look at it through the electron microscope, it's all energy. This table's all energy. Everything is energy. And we produce a vehicle for an existence, for a schoolroom, if you will, to experience what's called human life. And we can make it delightful, or we can make it not so delightful. But then we can move on. And what's happened in the box system, as Carr explained it, was people forgot who and what they are. That who and what we are creative beings. We're all extraterrestrials. We're all space beings, if you will. We're all infinite beings. And we're all immortal beings with powers that we can't even dream of in the third dimension with our brain. You can't conceive what we can do. But yet we do it every day. I want a home in the mountains. And you just forget about it until someday somebody comes up and gives you a home in the mountains. It happens that way. If you try to get a home in the mountains, it'll never work because you're trying. And the trying is self-defeating. Everything you try will defeat itself, and you just chase your tail. Can't get anywhere. So, let's see. A couple more minutes, and then I'll have some questions and answers, but I'd like to round this off by saying that I recently went through a death experience, absolute death experience. I was in, and it's all documented, in Las Vegas, Nevada. I originally went into the hospital for knee transplants. I had one bad knee, and they replaced it, and I had another one, and they replaced it. The first one went okay. I had home care. The nurses and everything came in with machines and got me back going again. The second one went well. The operation went well. They put titanium knees in my knees, which is wonderful. I had suffered from a motorcycle accident for 40 years with pain. I didn't know that there was anything else but pain. I thought everybody had pain in their knees. And I was always limping until these operations, and they were wonderful. I have no more pain, and I can run. I can do anything that anybody else can do, even better now, since I know what they are and how they work. But the second recovery, they suggested rather than taking home care that I would go into a rehab facility where they had machines to help me quickly get reoriented to walking and stuff. So I did, and I was there about a week or two, and gone through everything they gave me, and I passed all the tests, and they said, okay, well, the rest is up to you. We're going to send you home tomorrow. You're in good shape now. And so I went to bed, and I called my wife and pick me up tomorrow. I'm getting out of here. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and they were giving me a blood transfusion without my knowledge or permission. And I asked what was going on, and they said, you'll have to ask the doctor. I said, well, I'd like to see the doctor. Well, he's not available, blah, blah, blah. And they said, get him in here right away. And in comes these guys, 3 or 4 guys, with a gurney, and they put me on a gurney, strapped me down, got me out to an ambulance, and code 3 emergency. They took me to a hospital that was 25 miles away when we had one right next to the facility. I don't know why. But they got me there and put me in intensive care, and they had about 3 or 4 doctors looking at me, and they tried poking all kinds of stuff in me, trying to find out what was wrong. And they had discovered that night, no blame anywhere, I had received the wrong medication. I was supposed to get antibiotics to help heal my legs or keep from getting blood clots or whatever it was for. And they gave me another patient's medication. And it was the wrong antibiotics. And what had happened, it was killing all my white cells. Now, I don't know anything about medicine. This is just what I was told. And I was pretty near death when I got to the hospital. So anyway, they figured out a whole bunch of stuff and gave me IVs and stuff and got me coming around somewhat. But I was just hovering for 11 days in intensive care. And my wife would come up, bless her heart, every night after work, after working a full day's work, she'd come 45 minutes drive each way to come and see me. And then my dearest our dearest friend from Phoenix, she decided to just leave her job and come up and see me, because we'd been friends for, we go back years and years and years. And I remember getting, I guess, close to death, because they had talked to me about it 2 times. But there was the one time where all these doctors and nurses were in there, and they were with their notepads and everything, and they said, we've done all we can for you. That's it. See, nothing more we can do. And do you have a priest, or do you have someone you want to call? And I thought, wait a minute. No, I don't want to hear this. Get my wife and my best friend up here. And so they came, and I went into like a metamorphosis, I guess. I don't know what I'm not a butterfly, but I know what a caterpillar must go through, because it's a thing of the mind. And I knew from Carr and my training with Carr, what I was seeing was not of this world. It was not of the brain. The brain wasn't seeing it, but it was kind of a metamorph. How much time do I have? Oops. I got about 15 minutes, and I'd like to take a couple of questions and answers, but I'll finish this. I went into a state of mind where I realized, wait a minute, I came here to build spaceships, floating homes, floating cities. I'm not done with that. I've gotten sidetracked in all this bologna soup. I've gotten caught here, and something told me, well, you're not going to get out of here till you get your mission done. You came here, you committed to it, and you're not going anywhere till you get it done. So you better just realize that. And my good friend from Phoenix, Arizona, Marcia Brown, and my wife, Ruthie Ring, were encouraging me to don't go anywhere. We need you. And my wife's, I realized, my wife has emphysema, and there's a lot of things that she needs help with. So I knew, for those 2 reasons, I couldn't go anywhere. Well, in a state of mind that it's hard to put into words, I realized that, it's hard to say, that perhaps that dimension that body was dying in is back there somewhere. I might have died to those people, to that illusion, that dimension. But to me, I was reborn, or I was another me. I was me with more and more tenacity, more and more courage and everything. And even my wife and my best friend said, you're the same, but you're different. You're a different being, but you're the same. And it's hard to describe that to anybody if you haven't experienced it. But then, in retrospect, I realized that's what happened. You go through death in a twinkling of an eye. And then I equated that to people going to sleep at night. When you wake up in the morning, it's a new world, all of us. We're dead to the world at night, in a sense. And when we wake up in the morning, we have the power to create our whole day the way we'd like it to be. Or we can leave it up to chance. Oh, well, I don't know this, I don't know that. Is this right, is this wrong? And that's the way it'll go. So, that was my death experience. And I'm now in hot pursuit of creating, and with the help of beings like you that have the same powers that I have, if you will, to get together and get these spaceships off the ground, to get homes for people that they can have from birth on up for the rest of their lives with no pollution, no maintenance, no power bills, and nothing but fun to explore, to have fun with ourselves and everyone else. So that's my goal, that's my mission, and that's what I will do it. And with the help of all you, I'll get it done faster. So I need some help. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I will take some questions if you have a few questions. I think I got 12 minutes left for questions.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is John. I'm from Salt Lake City. What happened to Mr. Carr? He's dead, I presume. And his works, his writings that you and he created, where are they today? Do we have access to them?
Okay, Mr. Carr passed on. Let's see. He's been gone now about 10 years. He's passed on, and I didn't get the second part. I'm kind of hard of hearing.
The writings, the works, the books, the technology, is that still available today?
Oh, it's available. I've got a lot of it. If anybody's interested in the Tesla or the car technology, I've got a website. If you got a pencil, I'll be glad to give you my website, and I will pass on all of it, every ounce of it to you. If it's of interest to you, it will help me. My website is what is my website? Okay, it's Vortex, spelled with a V, like Victor, VORTEXXX, followed by the numeral 3 at AOL.com. And my name is Ralph Ring, and I'm available 24/7 if you've got any questions or anything that will help us, all of us, get these things off the ground. I know how to do it. In my heart, I've been there and done that. I know what teleportation is. I know who and what we are. We're immaculate, immortal beings, and we don't have to live under servitude anymore. We can just do whatever we want. Now, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked again.
I see more people, so I'll just let you go.
Well, what was the other question? Are they available? Yes. They're all available, so that's my website or
Okay.
my email address.
Vortex, XXX, VORTEX, 3 at AOL.com?
That's it.
Okay. And besides, do you still have this laboratory available? What are your intentions for helping to bring this out?
Okay,
Using all these people here or anyone else?
We have a group of people ongoing now for years, but we formulated a very, very fourth density, if you will, people that are getting out of the box and not having decisions made, not making their own decisions anymore. We're just going with life and following it. And there's about 12 of us. And it's called the Advancement of Sciences Consortium. We're located all over the place, in Ohio and Phoenix, Arizona, and Colorado. And, well, anyhow.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
You bet.
Appreciate your
Thank
being
you.
here.
Thanks. Anyhow, we do have a group of people that are starting on this, but we need input from everybody. And we don't need money. We need love. That's the whole thing is a labor of love. Money is secondary, and it will come.
Sir, thank you very much for the excellent talk. I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you very much.
This is a little off the subject, but I was wondering if you had an opinion on these chemtrails. What are they? Who's doing it, and why?
Okay, sure. The chemtrails, to me, because I now have to follow the philosophy that everything is good, because I'm on that trail. Everything is okay. Everything is one. That you can dissect it into duality by saying this is the good side of it, this is the bad side of it. But in reality, it's just happening. That's all it's doing. It's happening. They're on the and I don't know that much about chemtrails. It's just what I've heard and what I've read. But on the dark side, there's chemicals being put into the atmosphere that are detrimental to our health, et cetera, et cetera. On the bright side, there's supposed to be a layer of aluminum and titanium or whatever, reflectors reflecting the sun back so that it will reduce global warming. Now, I don't know, you can take either or of those and do with it you like, but it's the folly of us to experiment with things that are not altogether natural in nature. And I feel once you're conscious of it, once you know what's going on, you raise your conscious level, there's nothing that can hurt you, nothing at all. We do it to ourselves. There's none of those guys out there. They can't kill me because I've been dead and I know what it's like, so I'm not worried about death anymore. And the same thing from any kind of opposition, I kind of encourage it. Because my worst enemy in life, which was the military, I now respect and honor them for who and what they are. Because they taught me not to kill. They taught me what taking a life